Welcome to this video. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the styles that you might find beneficial as you're writing your paper. We're going to talk about a style that we'll call paper. We're going to generate another style that we're going to call title, and one that's probably the most important is we're going to generate a style that's called references, which this style seems to be the most beneficial to students. The styles that you might use later on in your paper, such as heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3, which are very important for graduate level papers, because it allows you to generate a table of contents. But those will be discussed in another video. So today it's just going to be, in this video it's going to be paper style, the title style, and the reference style. So what we want to do is make sure that we are on the Home tab, and at the top of the Word document we want to look for our styles. But if they're not there, that it's no real big deal. We're going to use the down arrow, and that's just below Change Styles. If we click on this little down arrow, it will allow us to bring it up the whole list of styles that we might have, and some that you can see are already there that we may or may not use. But we're going to first start off by generating or creating a new style that we're going to call paper. Since there is no style called paper in this list, then we're going to go to the bottom left of this dialog box, and we're going to click on the little icon that says New Style. And where it has Style 1, we'll just back that out, and we're going to call this style Paper. This is going to allow us to always indent properly, have the right font, and it's going to double space and things like that. So we're going to have one that we're going to call paper. The style type will always remain paragraph. What that allows you to do is to change anything in the paragraph. It changes the whole paragraph. So don't change that to anything other than paragraph. Based on style is no problem. Now the style following the paragraph means that once we hit the enter key and it goes to another line, what do we want that style to be? And we always want it to be paper, because as we flow through the paper, every time we hit the enter key, we want it to automatically go into the paper style and not have to physically go up there and change it every time. So the style for the following paragraph is paper. Now the formatting for the font, if in the introduction video and also in the APA manual, you'll remember that the formatting should always be Times New Roman and should be 12 point. And the font color should always be automatic. If it's anything other than that, click on the down arrow and just make sure that we go to automatic. Now we always want our paper to be left aligned, so that's no problem. But we do not want it single space. We don't even want it 1.5 space. We want to go to double space. So go to double space, and in our little box here you can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at so far. We want to add this to our quick style list, which is the list that we have up here at the top. So that's okay to leave this checked. There's no problem. We want to automatically update, which means if we change the style, that it automatically change the paper that we have open. So always check that. We want to make sure that whatever document we open up uses this style. Well, if we leave only this document, that if we ever go to any other paper, then we will not have these styles that we are building. So make sure that the new documents based on this template is checked. Now then we go into Format Next, which is in the bottom left of this dialog box. And even though we have worked on the fonts up here, I like to go ahead and click on Font just to make sure there's nothing that needs to be changed. So as you can see, we have Times New Roman, regular, 12, font color is automatic, and we're good to go. So we hit OK. And we're going to go into format and paragraph, and this is where we may see some things that we need to change. Left aligned is not a problem. That's good. That's what we want. Indentation is 0, 0, but we want the special. We want to highlight this, and you'll see that we have two options, and we want the first line to be indented, and computer will automatically assume that we want it to go to a 1/2 inch, and that is fine. If the spacing before or after the paragraph is anything other than 0, and you can have anything from auto to different numbers, always make sure that this is 0, 0. We're already double spacing, so we don't need to add any extra spaces between the paragraphs. This seems to be a big issue for some students that don't know about this, and their paragraphs sometimes have great big jumps between them. Alright, so we have 0, 0 for the spacing, and the line spacing is doubled. We're in good shape so far. So we can come here now and we can click OK and come out of the paragraph dialog box. So everything looks fine. All of these are checked like we want. So now we can hit OK. We have created a style that is called paper. Now let's go ahead and create a couple of more that we're going to call, one of them we're going to call title. If you go through your list and you see one that's already named, then you can just right click on this. We're going to do title. There's one already here. If there wasn't, you would just go to the bottom and create a new style, and you do everything pretty much the same as we're going to do. But if you try to create a new style and call it title, it won't do it because there's already one there. So we're going to go to title, and we're going to right click on title so that we can go into see modify. And so now we see the ability to be able to modify this style. So now we're going to left click. To get to the modify box, we right click. So now we're going to left click, and it's going to bring us to the modify dialog box. The name of it is title, not a problem. Based on normal, it's not a problem. But the style following the paragraph, remember, we always want it to be paper. So once we get through typing the title and we hit enter, it'll automatically go into the proper formatting for our paper. The formatting font needs to be Times New Roman and 12. And the title is not bolded, so we don't have to worry about doing anything there. We're going to center the title though, and we're going to do just like we did a minute ago. We're going to go from single space to double space. We got add to quick style list is checked, so it's automatically update, but we want to check to allow all documents based on this template. We can go into format, font, just to double check that we see Times New Roman regular 12. The font color is automatic and everything looks good here. We hit OK, and when we go back into format, we're going to go into the paragraph, and then we're going to probably see some things we may have to do. Nope, looking good. The alignment is centered. The indentation is 0, 0. There is no special here because we don't want anything indented. It's already centered. Sometimes this goes to numbers that I thought we might have to change, but this one is at 0, 0. And even though it's a title, make sure it's double spaced, because once we hit the enter key, even though this, every time we do, we go to a new line, we want it to be double spaced, so we're in good shape there. That's good. So we got OK. So we have the title now set up. That's always going to be double spaced and centered. So now if we click the title, it automatically moves over. A while ago we thought we were still in the paper. Now you'll notice that when we have paper, it's trying to indent. No problem, but we're trying to do the title on our first page. So we click on title and we say this is a sample title. Now then, when we hit enter, as you remember, since we have told the style to automatically go to paper after we type title, it goes to the paper style, double space, indent it. So this is a sample first paragraph of a paper that is using the new styles we just created to demonstrate. So get this here out of the way. We just demonstrated building. Well, let's just now then, when we get through with this, if this was a full paragraph, I know this is just a sentence, but if this was a paragraph, then we could hit the enter key and it's automatically double space, indented, and ready to go. Now then, there's different ways to move to a new a new page. We next want to, we have finished typing our paper and we want to go to the reference page. So unless we just happen to be on the last line of the paper, we don't want to hit the return a bunch of times and move to the next page. We want to go into Insert, which is the tab next to Home, and tell it Page Break. This brings us to a new page that allows us to type a reference. So we're going to go in and we're going to type references. Now then, what we have here is that our references, if you read the APA, the first line is left justified, and the right and the bottom second and subsequent lines are indented. Unlike the paragraph is first line is indented and the second and subsequent lines are left justified. So this is just backwards from what we want. So we're going to build a new style called references. So we're going to go to our style box and we're going to click on new style and we're going to call this references. This is going to be based on paragraph. That's good. Based on normal. And we want this, the following, we want it to, since we're going to have multiple references, we want this to stay references. The references are your last thing in most papers, unless it's research that you're going to have tables or whatever, which most do not. But you're always going to be building your references one after the other. So we'll leave that references. Remember, every paper is Times New Roman. This should be 12. And we want this to be left justified, and references, just like the rest of the paper, are double spaced. So we're going to automatically update, and we're going to make sure that every paper that we open from here on has this style. We're going to go into Format, and we're going to go into Font, and we see Times New Roman, regular, 12. The font color is automatic, so as we expected, that should be fine. Now with the Format paragraph, we are going to have to make some changes. The alignment is left, that's no problem. 0, 0 is not a problem. But instead of the first line being indented, we want the first line hanging by ½ inch. So this is just the opposite of the paragraph that we do in our paper. So that's instead of it being first line, we go to hanging. Spacing is always 0, 0, double spaced. We're in good shape. we can see from our sample that our first line is going to be left justified and our second and subsequent lines are going to be indented. The beauty of this is that once we start typing, let me find references over here. Where is it? Click on reference. So let's just go, let's make up one. 2012. For all good. Let's go. All right, so now when we're typing a reference, we didn't have to worry about moving the second line over like it's supposed to. We just type. We just can keep typing. We don't have to worry about how the lines are going to, different lines are going to line up properly. And the beauty of it is when I hit the enter key and I go down to the next reference, then I can start typing and not have to worry about all the formatting. So now, so far today we've gotten how to set up your three styles called your paper, your title, and your reference. I think if you use all three of these, but particularly the one called paper and reference, you will certainly find that your life is much easier when you are typing a paper. Next video we're going to do on setting up the level 1, 2, and 3 headings so that we can build a table of contents. You'll be surprised just how easy it is to build a table of contents if you have your style set up correctly.